Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of Nintendo Enthusiast Radio. Today we're going to be talking about Bravely Default, that brand new RPG that just came out for the Nintendo 3DS. I've put about 30 hours into it, but we also have Anthony,
Howdy ho, neighbors.
who's played through the demo, and Dakota, who's also played through the demo.
That's Dakota's high. He
Uh,
smacked his mic.
yep. So I've put quite a bit of time into there. I already have my thoughts formulated on the game. I'm really liking it. But Anthony, how did you like the demo?
I really enjoyed it, actually. The battle system was a little complicated at first. It was really kind of tough to wrap my head around it, which is weird because I play a lot of RPGs with weird battle systems. But what I really liked about it was I felt the game, I don't know if this is true with the final product, but I felt it had a lot of atmosphere. The music was really, really good. It kind of just fit the environment well. It's a game that kind of felt really alive to me.
Yeah, I
And the art style helped a lot. I don't know. It kind of gave me like almost maybe a Nino Kuni vibe. It's taboo for us to mention
that's
non-Nintendo games.
no, it's fine. That's exactly actually what I was thinking when you brought up the music.
Hmm.
When I was playing through that orchestral soundtrack, really reminded me of Nino Kuni's soundtrack, especially like in the open world.
Yep. Hmm.
When you're roaming around, especially like the way they even run around that world, just reminds me of Nino Kuni and
Totally.
how Oliver runs around. It's definitely a really good thing. The music is really gorgeous. The art style is also really beautiful. I'm going to be honest, I think the 3D is really good in this game. Uh,
Hmm.
I
The killer for me is the random battles. I hate random battles. But I was able to stomach it for the demo at least.
Did you see the
Random
option how you
encounters.
can reduce the amount of random battles you go through?
Oh wait, what's that?
There's actually an option if you go under your configuration settings. You can so you're located at the base for like 0% or whatever for the random counters, but you can raise it
Oh.
to double it so that your encounter rate's double, or you can even raise it to or lower it to 0 to where you're not
Ah.
getting any random encounters. So this becomes really beneficial. Say if I'm about to face a boss and I want to run back to town to heal, I can
Oh.
use my item or whatever to hop it out of the dungeon, run to the town to heal up, then come back and not have to go through any of these random encounters, which is really nice.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic right there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Um. Wow. I would probably be tempted to just have it off all the time, and then I wouldn't get any level ups, and that would be a
that,
problem.
that would
But
be the problem. Then when you get into the boss battle, you get annihilated, which is another thing. I really like the boss battles in this game because I don't know how many boss battles are in the demo. I actually never played through it, but every time you beat a boss, you get like you unlock a new class because every boss himself is a different class. So you've got tons of different classes, and when you face every different boss, they're going to act differently because you've got a performer class as a boss or whatever, or a support class as a boss, and he's got two guys that he continually buffs. So every
hmm.
boss encounter is really different. That's what I really like about the boss encounters. The other thing I liked about the boss encounters is since it is Bravely Default, the quirk about this battle system is that at any time, you can either Brave, which is giving you extra moves, so you can perform multiple moves in a single time, or you can Default, which is kind of raising your defense, and then you store moves. What I really like is that bosses do the same thing. They'll store moves and unleash multiple moves at the same time, which really adds a layer of strategy to your gameplay. Uh, so you kind of have
How difficult is it? Because I love RPGs unless they're too difficult. That's when I start to get bored of them easily.
Casual. Noob.
Just for RPGs, I get bored when an RPG is difficult. I start to get bored of it quick.
I feel
well,
like I feel like Bravely Default actually didn't keep my attention that long, but continue.
yeah, well, the thing I was gonna say is that Bravely Default, it definitely has an easy mode and a hard mode for people that are extremists or you want an easier gameplay experience. So you can definitely turn on easy if you like. But I think the game, I don't think it's super hard. I think it's just standard for an RPG. Like you might go into a boss battle, get decimated, you go out, level up once. Or change up your strategy. You come back and you'll be able to beat the boss. It's not that big of a deal.
Right on.
The game also gives you a bunch of things to help you out. So this brings us to the social aspects. I don't know if you guys were able to try any of the social aspects in the demo. I don't think they're there actually. Uh,
Hmm.
but one of the things you can do, is if you have any friends that play Bravely Default online, or if you street pass with anyone, or once a day you can go online and get send out 3 friend invites to random people around the world. You get their avatar in your game, and what this does is 2 things. Number 1, in a battle, you can use their move to help you out. So let's say you have a friend who's 3 levels stronger than you. You can use their attack every time they send it. So it's like once a day or whatever. You can use their attack as your attack instead and attack the boss. So if you have a friend that's super strong, you'll get one move a day or whatever from them where they can hurt the boss a lot, or whatever you choose.
I have to say, I've been pretty impressed by some of the unique methods some of these companies have used for street passing. That's pretty cool.
It's really interesting because I was talking to a friend. I hadn't talked to him in like a year or something. He bought Bravely Default. We became friends, and he's like, "Oh yeah, I sent out this one black mage move, blah 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 blah." Because you get to choose what move you send out, and he's like, "Just make sure you use it for people that are weak to water or whatever." And he was just explaining this to me. I think it's really cool. Kind of adds to the social aspect, and it kind of makes the game a little easier if you choose to do so. The other thing is, you kind of have this town that you're building up called Narend or something like that. So for every person you street pass, or as you go online and you recruit people, you can put these into your village and they kind of build up shops for you. And for example, you might have a potion shop that you're leveling up, and it'll take 40 hours or whatever to upgrade this potion shop. And you can, it's always going even in sleep mode. But what you do is if you put like a second person on there, it'll split the time. So it's like 20 hours. If you put a third person in there, it'll like half the time again. So the more people you street pass, or the more people you collect online, the more friends that are playing, the quicker these shops level up. It's definitely not like a requirement, but it's kind of nice that they add in these social features.
That's a good use. That's pretty awesome.
Yeah, it's got all these sort of things that'll keep you talking to your friends and make sure you're using these social features. I think it's really, really cool. Well, what about you, Dakota? What were your thoughts on the game? You tried it out for a little bit.
I mean, I tried it out the least out of all you guys, and I would say that's mostly because I'm not the biggest RPG fan. Mostly, playing Pokemon or like Paper Mario or something like that. I don't know. It didn't catch my interest very long. I was really hyped because everyone was talking about Bravely Default. I was like, oh, this is a really good game. And I played the demo for a little bit, and I definitely got the atmosphere point that Anthony was making earlier. I'll agree with that, but other than that, I just didn't see or get into all that stuff that Eli was talking about. Wow, Omar! Shoutouts to Omar, by the way. I feel like I didn't get too deep into it. Maybe it's just I was only scratched the surface of it, but like I said, I'm not a big RPG fan, so it didn't catch my interest very long. I was like, I'm gonna go back and play Super Metroid or Melee or something like that. It's all right.
I'm a big RPG fan when an RPG has something really unique about it. When it tries to do something really unique, like this battle system, for example.
Yeah, Bravely Default. The other, there are 2 more things I want to talk about. The first one is this job system, which I talked about a little earlier. Is every time you defeat a boss, you kind of get their job, but it goes a lot deeper than that, because when it comes to jobs, you can pretty much switch on the fly. At any moment, you can change any of your party system's job to something different, which is really, really cool. And you level up their jobs as well. So they have their overall level and then a separate level for their jobs. So you might have a character that's, like a level 8 white mage, but also a level 10, dark mage with another side ability or whatever, because you can attach multiple jobs even to a same character. So it's really cool in that aspect. Definitely allows for experimentation and just changing up your party constantly to adapt to whatever the situation is. The last thing I wanted to touch on was this microtransaction thing that people were worrying about. So it's really not a big deal. So people were worried about because Square Enix introduced a microtransaction system for $1, you can get 3 sleep points. What are sleep points? Well, if you put your 3DS in a sleep mode, every 8 hours of sleep mode, you'll get a sleep point. Then in a battle, you can use a sleep point to just make a move at any single time. If the boss is about to attack, you can use a sleep point, and then you can attack with your character, or revive a character, whatever you need to do. Personally, I barely ever use sleep points. I mean, I have my 3DS in sleep mode, so I have 3 sleep points pretty much at any point because that's the maximum. So, I mean, if going gets tough during a boss, I might use 1 or 2. But it's not really a required part of the game, and people that are worried about these microtransactions really shouldn't because they're not an essential part of the game. And I barely ever use sleep points, and I've definitely never spent money on them. So people shouldn't be worried about these sleep points.
Now this was Square Enix, right? This is Square Enix.
Yeah.
Was it Nomura? Sounds a lot like a Nomura game. Just sounds like his kind of ideas.
I don't know. I'm not certain who's in charge of that, but I definitely don't think it's a big deal. There were a lot of people that were really pissy about this whole thing, but I really want to put people's minds to rest and really recommend Bravely Default. I'm actually going to be reviewing it for the site, but so far it's really, really good. It's also really long. I'm like 30 hours in. I think I'm only like halfway through. I've been doing all the side stuff pretty much, but still. It's a really long game, really nice RPG for people. People should try it out. And from what I'm hearing, if we should go by VG Charts data, which really isn't all that reliable, but still, it looks like it's selling pretty well in both Japan and the US. So definitely,
there you go.
If you like an RPG. So there are our thoughts. It seems like Anthony really liked it. Dakota's not really into RPGs, but I really enjoyed it as well. Definitely look into Bravely Default. Look for our review soon, and see you guys later for another episode.
Take care.
Peace.